having no views, no likes, no listeners, no comments, nothing. And in the meanwhile, you're putting a lot of work into it. Lady, amazing lady, welcome to a new episode of the podcast for female leaders. Today, I'm going to talk about having no views, no likes, no listeners, no comments, nothing. And in the meanwhile, you're putting a lot of work into it. Now, that is exactly, that's exactly what's happening with this podcast. Of course, at the time of this episode, September 2024. And 5 days ago, I left the Dutch version, my mother's language, my home language podcast. I had 370 episodes. I had followers, I had comments, I had listeners, I had a lot. It was a very, I wouldn't say easy, but at a certain point, yes. But it was very easy going. It was really my thing. And now I decided to quit this Dutch one and start the English version. So I start from scratch because in Spotify, all those platforms, because I switched language, I started a new podcast show. The other one, of course, still exists, but I just don't make any more episodes. So then what happens? Then because I've done it already once, now I know exactly. But let's start with the first time when I started my Dutch podcast show for vrouwelijke leiders, is for female leaders. I started in January 2023. And that first year, like I'm doing now with this one, every working day, holidays, doesn't matter, every working day, I published one episode. And at the first time, cost a lot of time. I was still editing. I don't edit this one. I also didn't edit the Dutch version anymore. You know, my podcast, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect as a person. My podcast is not perfect in the sense that it's perfectly edited. That's not real. That's not a real me. It's not real life. So I don't edit. This is what you get. And if I sniff or cough, or if you hear my phone ringing when I didn't switch it off, then hey, it's live, right? So, but my first podcast, I was warned by people, you put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, because I was first recording, then do the editing. So every podcast would take like an hour or so. At the beginning, hour and a half, but then I could bring it back to an hour or so. And then if you compare that time 5 times a week, so 5 hours, a minimum a week, and have no listeners, no new followers, no nothing, then everybody says, just don't look at the stats. Don't look at it. Please do not, because it stops you from continuing. And that's why they say it's so important that you enjoy what you're doing, because that will keep you going. So I couldn't really ignore the statistics, because I had to upload new ones, so you automatically see it. But I remember I managed, otherwise I would never get to episode 370. So now this one again, I have 4 followers, but one is my 10-year-old son, one is a very good friend, one is a customer, which she's from South Africa, so for her it's even a better language to listen to. So when you listen, thank you very much. And one is myself on my own Spotify account. I followed my own show. So hey, 4 followers, that's already a lot more than my Dutch podcast. But hey, now I already have listeners, so they know me a bit the way I podcast. But what I'm trying to say here is, first of all, for your own mental health, so to say, it's good that people are not listening. It's good that people are not listening, because your first episodes are probably very crappy, because you have to learn. And if whether it's podcasting or whatever you do new, if you decide to go out there, either posting on social media or podcasting or blogging, whatever, it's good that you don't have views or people who are following you because you're first. Well, my hero on this, Russell Brunson, it's good that people don't listen, so you have the time to learn how to become better. So the first 50 episodes, give yourself the first 50 episodes, video, podcast, blogs, whatever you do or whatever you're planning to do. And it's good that you don't have listeners because so they don't hear how crap you are. So if you are in it in this way, and now I'm talking about podcasting, but of course it's with everything. It's with everything. It's good that you don't have an audience yet. If it's good at maybe in job titles and responsibility, it's good that you don't have it yet. So people are not looking at you. So it's easier for yourself to learn, to fall hard, and to get up and to do it again. Maybe the same way, maybe already the second time a different way. Sometimes I need 3 times the same failure to do 4 times. Better to learn and implement what I've learned. Yeah. So that is truly, it is with whatever. If you're trying to do, I'm, in Holland, we are good at our English. We learn at school from like 6 years old. From 6 years old. Now with the whole world on your phone, they learn to speak English. I noticed very quickly. For me, myself, it wasn't that easy. It was my year when I was 23 years old. I moved to Ireland for a year. That's where I improved. That for me, in there I got comfortable speaking English. My husband is not Dutch, he's Italian, so we still speak English, but of course it's a very small world, so my vocabulary will grow. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm here. I talk with all my energy and fun and joy and ease, and I am okay making mistakes, and I'm okay making sentences in English in the Dutch following order, if you understand what I mean. You will learn all about Dutch sayings because I don't know the English translation. And I do know already after episode number 5 that what I've where I was looking for words in recording this podcast, I asked ChatGPT, DeepL, Google Translate, what is a different way of saying this? And next time I won't do this, a mistake or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I think that's it. You just go, just try, learn, make sure you enjoy. And if you don't enjoy, then find things to refine your joy again, because that's what's bringing you everything, every single thing. Okay, have fun. You can do this for sure. And make sure if positioning yourself is the true reason that you're listening to this podcast, it's also in there you're capable of a lot more than you actually believe yourself. And by taking this one step at a time, that is going to make the difference. So no one can ignore you anymore. Bye bye. Thank you for listening.